Fall is coming and there is nothing we can do to stop it, but we can make it more enjoyable. Hi, I'm Carolyn Evans-Hammond and welcome to my tasting room. Carolyn's Tasting Room is where you can taste exciting wines with me. And tonight, we taste best buys for fall. The flight includes a 2021 Pelee Island Lola Cabernet Franc Cabernet Sauvignon blend, VQA Ontario. The 2020 Pelee Island Tailwind Cabernet Franc Cabernet Sauvignon blend, VQA Ontario. And the non-vintage Best in Show Cabernet Sauvignon blend of domestic and imported wines. So let's taste. And the first wine in our flight is a 2021 Lola Cabernet Franc Cabernet Sauvignon from Pelee Island. It's a VQA Ontario wine. So pour yourself a glass and let's taste. First, notice the color. It's interesting to me because it's not opaque. This is not a deep dark wine, and that's because it's a blend of Cabernet Franc, which is a pale red wine, and Cabernet Sauvignon, which has depth of color. So you're seeing that here. It's a medium deep wine, which you'd expect. It's also clear and bright, which suggests stability. Give it a swirl and let's have a sniff. I love the fragrance because it's great purity. It's a very clean fragrance, nothing off-putting, and absolutely on point as to what you'd want to smell for a Cabernet Franc and a Cabernet Sauvignon blend. So stay with me here and give it a smell and we'll talk about that in a moment. So are you noticing the raspberry, the violet, the pink peppercorn? Oh, I do. Now those are the fragrances I often associate with Cabernet Franc, and they're absolutely there. But there's more. There's underpinnings of darker fruit. Cabernet Sauvignon is a grape variety that I associate with cassis and blackcurrant, those darker fruit notes, and you're getting that too. But it's almost like an underpinning. Do you notice that? And I like that layering of fragrance because at the price point, this is $15.95, that's value. Complexity, concentration, and length are marks of quality, and we first encounter the quality first on the purity of fruit on the nose, but then on the complexity and the chiseled complexity and perfect typicity of the grape varieties. Great value right there. So I like that. I think this wine is showing beautifully right now, but let's have a sip. Isn't that lovely? Sweeps in, but the textural dimension is there too. It gives a plushness, but not too rich. It's still lifted and drinkable. But there's a little bit of lush character that lends just enough velvetyness to make it perfect for the season. And I really like that. Sort of bridges from your summer wine to your fall wine and works both ways. Really like that. There's also, again, the typicity showing through. That spike of acidity is coming from the Cabernet Franc, while the lushness is Cabernet Sauvignon. So let's have a sip and see how it cascades on the palate flavor-wise. For me, it streams in first with the cassis, and then as that recedes, then the fluttery notes of raspberry and violet and pink peppercorn, and maybe a hint of stony salinity too on the finish emerge. Now this tastes dry. It tastes like a dry red wine, but it's because there's lots of acidity, which is actually hiding a little bit of residual sugar. You could also pair it with tomato-based dishes or even dishes with a little bit of picante. And the second one in our flight is a 2020 Tailwind Cabernet Franc Cabernet Sauvignon blend. Also VQA Ontario. Also a wine I think is very good value. It sells for about $12. So pour yourself a glass, give it a swirl, take a look. A little bit more depth of color here than the first wine. Might be attributable to the vintage. And on the nose, slightly riper, isn't it? jammy. There's a jamminess here that's often not associated with Ontario reds. And here, Pelee Island is quite a southern point in Ontario. You're getting that jammy ripeness, which is lovely. So plum jam, a little bit of cassis, a touch of sort of underbrush or something like that, which lends a little bit of seriousness. Oh, and a touch of anise. So this is great because it's fanning out more complexity than you'd expect for a $12 wine. So with that said, have a sip and let's taste. Isn't that delicious? Easy drinking, plush texture, drenches the palate, but that spike of acidity scrapes the palate clean, so it remains totally drinkable. You can enjoy this glass after glass easily. You can pour it with barbecue. You can pour it with pan-fried or, a sheet pan of sausages or even chicken. Or if you're, plant-based, go with something like, burgers, Beyond Beef burgers or something like that. And I think it works marvelously. So one more quick step. What we're going to do is just assess the length, because this is something that I like about this wine. I think it lingers on the finish longer than many $10, $12 wines. Still there. Still there. Still there. So that length, that persistence on the palate, bridges to whatever you're going to have next. And the last wine in our flight is called Best in Show. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's a blend of imported and domestic wines that I think really over-delivers at $13.95. So pour yourself a glass. First, let's look at the color. You immediately notice this is the darkest wine of the flight. Do you notice that? Now this is pure Cab Sauv. Cabernet Sauvignon grapes tend to have a thicker skin than Cabernet Franc, and that imparts more pigment, more color to the wine. And you see that. You immediately see it in the glass. So pour yourself a glass, take a look, then give it a swirl, and let's have a sniff. This could not be anything other than Cabernet, and a wooded Cabernet. Do you smell a little bit of oak influence? I absolutely immediately pick that up. It's not overdone, but you're getting the complexity that comes from that. Do you notice that? So, cassis, yes, muddled black currant, but also some toasty notes. A little bit of nut, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of dusting of cocoa powder. These are things that are, associated with oaked Cabernet, and I think the articulation of that profile is beautiful. I love when you can really define the aromas. Your nose is more sensitive than the palate, so that's why spending some time with the fragrance of the wine can really enhance the pleasure of a glass. So I like that, because also at the lower price points, that's one of the things that often drops off is complexity. We're getting complexity here, which is a mark of quality. So let's have a sip and just feel the wine. Beautiful, right? A crush of cashmere goodness. Ripe, plump, clean fruit. It swans in, or it sweeps in. There's a litness. It tastes sunlit. It tastes ripe, which I like. It's also very clean. There's purity and there's length. So all of those things are there. On the palate, it's not wildly complex because everything's there, but they kind of smudge in together. Do you notice that? A little bit different. It's not pointed. It's just a sort of a collage of flavor. But let's see if we can parse it apart. Have a sip. So lovely. Sumptuous. Yes, there's a black currant. Yes, there's a little bit of chocolate maybe. And on the finish, some mocha, a little bit of coffee or something. And on the tail end, I'm getting almond, like burnt almond. So things going on for sure. Not wildly complex, but the drinkability factor, seriously there. It makes it a wine that is a bit of a crowd pleaser. Everyone's going to enjoy this. And it's the kind of wine you can have on hand and enjoy midweek with meatloaf for sure. But you can also pour it with pride when friends come around with a little bit of charcuterie. So Great wine, great lineup. That's fall. So there you have it. 3 best buys for fall. Every one of which is less than $16, but it definitely over-delivers. Which one did you like best? Let me know. Send me a message. And don't forget to like and subscribe because I'm coming right back with another flight of delicious wines and other drinks here on Carolyn's Tasting Room so you can drink better and learn how